They thought the explosion had ended everything at Lake Victoria. The water was finally calm, the survivors were safe, and then the scientists revealed that the piranha they captured was only a baby. If those were just babies, then the real monsters were still out there. And before anyone could even react, a giant piranha burst out of the water and dragged Nova down with it. But to understand how the lake turned into a bloodbath and how that explosion even happened, we have to go back to where the story truly began. But before we continue, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more dark movies like this. The story begins and we are shown Michael, who is drinking beer while fishing at Lake Victoria. But suddenly, a powerful earthquake hits, and the surface of the lake cracks open. Because of this, all the water starts draining downward, and a massive whirlpool forms above. Michael's boat begins getting pulled into it. In a panic, Michael tries to start his boat, but against this terrifying whirlpool, his small boat doesn't even turn on. At the same time, a huge fracture opens beneath the water, and millions of piranhas living there begin rising toward the surface. As the current grows stronger, Michael falls into the water, and the fish immediately swarm him. Michael screams for help at the surface, but on this isolated lake, there is no one there to hear his voice. Those fish keep biting him until they completely devour him. After this, we see the beach at Lake Victoria, where millions of tourists are arriving because of spring break. There we also see Jake, who runs into his childhood friend Kelly on the beach. Jake secretly likes Kelly a lot, but he is too afraid to tell her how he feels. Just then, Kelly's other friends show up and ask her to come along with them. Kelly leaves with them, and while walking away, they start bullying Jake. After being bullied by them, Jake goes to pick up his younger sister Laura from music class, where he meets Max, who is a supermodel from B-grade movies. In fact, a B-grade movie was about to be filmed at this lake. While the two of them are talking, the movie's director Jones shows up. He is looking for someone who knows this lake really well, so he asks Jake to come along with them and guide them around. In return, he offers him a good amount of money. Since Jake is on vacation, he can't refuse Jones's offer and agrees to it. Meanwhile, at home, we see Jake's mother, Julie, who is the town sheriff and a single mother. She tells Jake that because of spring break, her duty has increased a lot, so the next day he should stay home with his younger siblings, Jen and Laura. Just then, Deputy Fallon calls Julie to a location and tells her that Michael hasn't returned home since yesterday, and his wife is getting very worried. They find his boat nearby, but there is still no sign of him. Julie steps forward to check the boat, but suddenly a part of the dock breaks and she falls into the water. Fallon quickly moves to help pull her out. And just then, Michael's dead body rises to the surface, and it is in a horrifying condition. All the flesh is gone from his body, and only his bones remain. Seeing Michael like this leaves both of them shocked, and they can't understand what could have done this to him, because if an animal or a crocodile had attacked, his bones should have been broken too. But here, all the flesh had been completely stripped from his body. They decide to send his body for an autopsy. Meanwhile, the number of tourists at the lake keeps increasing day by day, and everyone there is completely lost in fun and partying. Jake also wants to go to the lake, so he asks his siblings, but they refuse to listen and instead blackmail him, demanding some money to keep their mouths shut. Left with no choice, Jake gives them $50 and tells them to stay quiet. After that, Jake heads straight to the beach where he meets Kelly, and the two of them start talking. Just then, the director shows up as well and asks Kelly to join them. Since Jake is already going with him, she decides to join their group too. At the same time, a team of scientists arrives at the lake to find out the reason behind the earthquake, and Julie takes them to their location on her service boat. Scientist Nova begins his research. Meanwhile, Laura and Jen are feeling very bored at home, so the two of them take a small boat and head out into the lake to go fishing. They eventually reach a small island where Jen doesn't tie the boat properly, and their boat drifts far away from the island. The two start arguing about it, and Laura walks toward the edge of the water to call for help. She steps into the water and starts calling out to a passing boat, but suddenly a thorn pierces her foot and it begins to bleed. Drawn by the smell of blood, a piranha quickly starts moving toward her, but because the pain becomes too much, Laura comes back out of the water. Meanwhile, Jake has brought everyone to a beautiful spot on the lake where they all enjoy themselves, and Jones begins filming with his cameraman. Meanwhile, Julie calls Jake and starts asking him about the kids, and Jake lies to her, saying that the children are completely fine and are at home watching TV. After the call ends, Nova explains that there is another lake beneath this one, and because of the earthquake, a huge crack formed, connecting both lakes together. Now, the divers Paula and Sam begin preparing to go underwater, while Nova guides them. Wearing their diving suits, the two jump into the water, where they notice a tunnel below. Sam tells Paula to stay there, and goes inside, alone, where he finds a massive cave filled with millions of piranha eggs. He moves closer to examine them, but before he can react, countless piranhas arrive and attack him, starting to devour him. Hearing his screams, Paula tries to help him, but the piranhas don't spare her either, and begin biting and devouring her as well. Up above, Nova realizes that his teammates' lives are in danger, so he jumps into the water to help them. With great difficulty, he manages to pull Paula out, but by then, the piranhas have already torn her apart, and one of the piranhas even makes it onto the ship with them. Now, Julie and Nova take that piranha to a retired scientist, and the scientist is shocked the moment he sees it, because this breed of piranha was believed to have gone extinct during the dinosaur era. This is the most dangerous generation of piranhas, capable of cutting through even iron with their teeth. Nova then explains that because of the earthquake, another lake was discovered beneath this one, and millions of these deadly piranhas exist down there. The scientist explains that these piranhas must have survived all this time by hunting each other underwater, and now they have become even more dangerous than before. Meanwhile, at the lake, we see a girl parasailing, but because her speed drops, she ends up landing in the water. The moment she touches the water, countless piranhas attack her. Hearing her screams, her friends think she is telling them to speed up the boat, so they do exactly that. But by then, the piranhas have already eaten both of her legs. At the same time, Julie calls Fallon and tells him everything that has happened, ordering him to clear the beach immediately. Fallon follows her instructions and goes to the beach, telling everyone to get out of the water, but the crowd is too drunk and busy partying, and no one pays any attention to him. Meanwhile, on the boat, Jake spots Laura and Jen, who are shouting for help. He tells Jones to take the boat toward them, but Jones clearly refuses and says that he didn't bring this ship out here for babysitting. Jake then tells him that his mom is the town's sheriff, and if he doesn't listen, he won't be able to do anything here. Jones finally agrees, and they steer the boat toward the shore, where Jake gets very angry at the two of them and tells them to get into the boat. By now, Jones is also furious, so he starts speeding the boat forward, and because of this, it gets stuck in some bushes. Everyone tells him to stop and wait for help to arrive, but he doesn't listen to anyone and keeps trying to force the boat forward. The boat manages to come out of the bushes, but a moment later, it crashes into a rock, and the bottom of the boat breaks open, causing water to start flooding inside. Because of the impact, Jones and his models fall into the water, and in the very next moment, the piranhas attack them, tearing into the beautiful model and devouring her piece by piece. Seeing this, Jones becomes terrified and tries to run for his life, but the piranhas attack him as well. Watching Jones struggle, Danny tries to help him, and, with great difficulty, pulls him back up. But the piranhas have already badly eaten the lower half of his body, and after writhing in pain for a while, he dies. Meanwhile, the piranhas that had been starving for centuries finally reach the beach and begin attacking everyone around. For a while, no one can even understand what is happening, but by now the piranhas have attacked so many people that the water in the lake turns from blue to red. Everyone starts running toward the shore to save their lives, and complete chaos breaks out there. Meanwhile, Julie and Nova keep helping the injured and pulling people onto their boat. In the middle of the panic, a boy tries to escape the water using a small boat. He doesn't look at anyone else and drives straight over injured people just to save himself. But eventually his boat also stops working, and in the struggle to survive, the crowd flips his boat over. He falls into the water, and the piranhas start tearing into him as well. Now the entire beach has turned red with blood. Deputy Fallon starts shooting at the piranhas with a shotgun, but after only a few shots, he runs out of ammo. Using all his strength, he rips out the propeller of a steamer and begins slashing at the piranhas with it. But there are too many of them, and they eventually swarm over Fallon. Meanwhile, Jake realizes that Kelly is still trapped below, and because the water level keeps rising, the piranhas have already reached there. Kelly screams for help, and Jake tries to rescue her, but the boat keeps filling with water. Jake calls his mom and tells her that all of them are stuck on a boat. Seeing her children in danger, Julie heads out with Nova to help them. Julie and Nova reach their boat, and Julie throws a rope toward them and tells them to tie it securely. After that, everyone starts moving toward the other side using the rope, while the piranhas keep jumping out of the water, trying to bite them. In the middle of this, Danny's hair falls into the water, and the fish begin pulling her down. Danny struggles hard to save herself, but the piranhas swarm over her and kill her as well. Now, Julie, Jen, and Laura manage to reach the other side safely. Jake quickly makes a plan. He ties the boat's rope around his waist and throws Jones's body into the water, causing all the fish to rush toward it. Seizing the moment, Jake dives underwater and swims toward Kelly. After coming back up, he tells his mom that when he counts to 10, she should drive the boat at full speed. Jake then opens the gas cylinder placed there and leaves with Kelly. As he moves away, he lights a flare and throws it toward the cylinder, and Nova pushes the boat forward at full speed. In the very next moment, a massive explosion goes off, and in that blast, all the piranhas are destroyed. Both of them safely climb back onto the boat. As they are leaving, they receive a call from the same scientist, who reveals that the piranha they had brought to him earlier was actually just a baby. Hearing this shocks everyone, because if those were only babies, then the real piranhas must be far more dangerous. Just then, a giant piranha suddenly leaps out of the water and drags Nova down with it. And with that, the story of Lake Victoria comes to an end.